Imagine you are watching the news when out of nowhere a criminal or a politician is gunned down right before your eyes, live on TV, no scripts, no second takes, just raw shocking reality. Today, we are diving into some of the most famous assassinations ever caught on camera, from political figures to notorious criminals. Starting off with the Russian ambassador to Turkey, Andrei Karlov, who was shot dead by a Turkish policeman on December 19, 2016.
The assassination of a top diplomat in Turkey right in front of the cameras. Russia's ambassador to Turkey was shot and killed at an art gallery event by a man shouting his message.
On December 19, 2016, Andrei Karlov, the Russian ambassador to Turkey, was assassinated during an art exhibition speech at the Contemporary Art Center in Ankara. At 7 p.m. local time, Mevlut Mat Atintas, an off-duty Turkish policeman, shot Karlov in the back at close range. The assassination was captured on live video, with footage showing Karlov collapsing as the assassin, who was later killed by Turkish authorities, shouted political slogans. The assassination sparked widespread condemnation from both Russia and Turkey. The killing strained diplomatic relations between the two countries, although they quickly sought to maintain cooperation. The incident was investigated by Turkish authorities, and several individuals were arrested in connection to the attack, including those suspected of having ties to Julianist organizations.
Turkey is going through very difficult times. They are having a lot of terrorist attacks. They've also, of course, gone through a very tough coup in which the government feels that they have the people responsible. They don't seem to produce much evidence on this, so they've had these mass arrests.
Atintas, who was reportedly a supporter of the Julian movement, claimed responsibility for the assassination as an act of protest against Russia's involvement in the Syrian civil war, particularly its support of the regime of Bashar al-Assad. His actions were part of a broader wave of political unrest in Turkey at the time. On October 12, 1960, Inejiro Asanuma, a prominent Japanese socialist politician, was assassinated during a live televised debate. Asanuma was stabbed in the abdomen by Otoya Yamaguchi, a 17-year-old nationalist, who approached him with a katana sword. The attack was captured on live television, and the shocking images of Asanuma collapsing on stage were broadcasted to a stunned nation. Yamaguchi was immediately arrested and later sentenced to death. He was executed in 1961. Asanuma's death shocked Japan and led to intense debates on political violence and the state of Japanese politics at the time. The moment of Asanuma's assassination was captured by photographer Yasushi Najao, whose image won the 1961 World Press Photo of the Year award for its dramatic impact and historical significance. Yamaguchi claimed his actions were motivated by his opposition to Asanuma's left-wing political views. The assassination of Asanuma became a symbol of the growing tension between Japan's political factions during the Cold War era.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. You'll excuse the fact that I'm out of breath, but about 10 or 15 minutes ago, a tragic thing, from all indications at this point, has happened in the city of Dallas. Let me quote to you this. President Kennedy and Governor John Connally have been cut down by assassins' bullets in downtown Dallas.
Lone gunman, conspirator, or patsy? Lee Harvey Oswald is the ambiguous figure at the heart of the Kennedy assassination.
On November 24, 1963, Jack Ruby shot and killed Lee Harvey Oswald in the basement of the Dallas police headquarters. At 11:21 a.m., Oswald was being escorted by police detectives to an armored car that would take him to the county jail. Ruby shot Oswald in the stomach at close range. The shooting was captured on live television.
He's been shot. Lee Oswald has been shot. There's a man with a gun. It's absolute panic.
Ruby was tried for murder with malice and sentenced to death. However, his conviction was overturned in 1966 after it was ruled that illegal testimony was allowed at his trial. Ruby died from a pulmonary embolism before a new trial could be held. Robert H. Jackson, a photographer for the Dallas Times-Herald, captured the moments of the shooting. The photograph won the 1964 Pulitzer Prize for photography. Ruby claimed he killed Oswald to spare Jacqueline Kennedy from testifying at his trial. However, some speculated that he was part of a larger conspiracy. On March 16, 1984, Leon Gary Plauche shot and killed Jeff Doucet in the Baton Rouge airport. Doucet had recently been apprehended by authorities for kidnapping and abusing Plauche's 11-year-old son Jody.
Jeff had been sexually abusing me the year leading up to going to California. I mean, there's all kind of molesters out there, and most of them are someone that the kid knows and trusts.
As Doucet was being escorted by police officers following his extradition from California, Plauche fired a single shot from a .38 caliber revolver, striking Doucet in the head. The incident was broadcast on live television. Doucet died instantly from the gunshot wound. Plauche was immediately arrested at the scene and charged with second-degree murder. The trial attracted national attention, with many sympathizing with Plauche as a father who acted out of deep emotional distress.
The next day, the phone was just swamped with people calling, and I would guess 19 out of 20 were very upset about us even booking him for murder.
In a rare legal outcome, Plauche pleaded no contest to manslaughter and received a suspended sentence with 5 years of probation and 300 hours of community service. He avoided jail time. Plauche stated that his actions were driven by rage and a desire to protect his son. Jeff Doucet had lured Jody away from his family in Louisiana, taken him to California, and subjected him to weeks of abuse. Plauche's emotional plea during the trial highlighted the trauma inflicted on his family and his desperation to seek justice.
I understand exactly what my father did. He got lucky because he didn't go to jail.
Now, South Korean opposition leader Lee Jae-myung has been stabbed in the neck on a visit to the city of Busan.
On January 2nd, 2024, Lee Jae-myung, leader of South Korea's Democratic Party, was stabbed in the neck during a visit to the construction site of a new airport in Busan. The attacker, a man in his 50s or 60s, initially approached Lee under the pretense of seeking an autograph. He then lunged with a concealed weapon, striking Lee. The incident was captured on video, showing Lee collapsing as bystanders rushed to assist him. Lee was rushed to Busan National University Hospital, where doctors managed to stabilize his condition. Medical staff cited possible damages to a jugular vein, but determined his injuries were not life-threatening. Lee was later airlifted to Shio National University Hospital for further care. The assailant was subdued at the scene and taken into police custody.
The local news outlet Yonhap reported that the weapon used at the site was around 18 centimeters long. Police also identified that he had bought the weapon online, and they're still investigating what his exact motives were. And as you mentioned before, the police arrested the man at the scene and is now charging him with attempted murder.
On August 9, 2023, Fernando Villavicencio, a prominent presidential candidate in Ecuador, was shot and killed as he exited a campaign event in Quito. A former journalist and a vocal anti-corruption advocate, Villavicencio had been polling 5th among 8 candidates in the upcoming presidential election. The attack occurred just weeks before the election day, shocking the nation and the international community. Villavicencio's assassination prompted Ecuadorian President Guillermo Lasso to declare a 60-day state of emergency. Security forces arrested 6 suspects reportedly linked to criminal organizations. Villavicencio had been under police protection following death threats believed to be tied to his stance against corruption and organized crime. The primary suspect in the assassination was injured during a shootout with police and later died in custody. Authorities are investigating potential connections to transnational criminal groups, as Villavicencio was outspoken against their influence in Ecuador, known for its fearless exposure of corruption, including alleged misconduct in Ecuador's oil industry. Villavicencio served in the National Assembly until its dissolution in May 2023. He leaves behind a powerful legacy as a staunch defender of democracy and 5 children mourning their loss. On May 5th, 1980, 7-year-old Anna Bachmeier was abducted by Klaus Grabowski, a 35-year-old sex offender in Lübeck, West Germany. Grabowski held Anna at his home for hours before strangling her with a pair of tights. Driven by fear of returning to prison, he disposed of her body in a canal. Grabowski, previously convicted of abusing other children, had undergone voluntary chemical castration, but later reversed it with hormone treatment. During Grabowski's trial on March 6, 1981, Miriam Bachmeier Anna's grieving mother brought a pistol into the courtroom. On the third day of proceedings, she shot Grabowski in the back 6 times, killing him instantly. She surrendered to authorities without resistance, explaining her motive as justice for her daughter. Dubbed the revenge murder, Bachmeier's act divided public opinion, with some sympathizing with her pain and others condemning vigilantism. In 1983, she was convicted of manslaughter and illegal possession of a firearm, receiving a 6-year sentence but serving only 3 before her release. Bachmeier lived abroad for several years before returning to Germany, where she passed away from cancer in 1996, buried beside her daughter, Anna. This high-profile case remains a stark example of grief, justice, and the limits of personal retribution. On July 8, 2022, Shinzo Abe, former Prime Minister of Japan, was shot and killed during a campaign speech in Nara, Japan. The assassin, Tetsuya Yamagami, approached Abe from behind and fired a homemade firearm. Abe collapsed immediately, and despite efforts to save him, he died from his injuries shortly after being transported to the hospital. Yamagami was quickly apprehended by the police. He later revealed that his motives stemmed from a personal vendetta against the Unification Church, to which Abe and his family had ties. The assassination shocked Japan and the world, marking the first time a former Japanese prime minister had been killed since the 1930s. Thank you for sticking around to the end. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.